This is dumb, but it might be the smartest thing you can do for your business. I'm talking about hiring an offshore appointment setter. Now I know you probably think this is crazy and you might not be ready. But the reality is, guys, so many business owners have tons of leads in their CRM, yet nobody's calling them, nobody's qualifying them, and nobody's booking them for appointments to help them and also to grow your business. The truth is, you don't need more leads. You need someone that can actually call your leads, qualify them, and ultimately help you generate more revenue from your already existing CRM. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to find, onboard, and train these appointment setters so ultimately you don't need to micromanage them and that you can ultimately grow and scale your business and finally live the life that you've always dreamt of. I've done this process over 1,500 times, so this is the blueprint and it's highly achievable. Let's dive in. So first things first, you need to find an appointment setter. And I don't just mean an appointment setter that speaks good English. I'm talking about an offshore appointment setter that, yes, they have great English, but also they have experience and the right skill, and ultimately they are the right culture fit for you and your business. This person needs to be hungry, coachable, has the right attitude and mindset, and is here to help himself and the company win. My advice, whenever you're looking for people for appointment setter role, is to find someone that already has the right experience and ultimately has worked in your niche. Now, them not working in your niche might not be a make or break for a lot of companies. However, it depends what growth stage you're in. If you're brand stinking new, hiring someone that comes from the same industry could be a huge benefit to you rather than having to teach them from scratch. However, sometimes having to retrain someone on a lot of their bad habits takes a lot longer than hiring someone who's very green and having to teach them every single step of the way. Remember, you're not hiring a robot. You're hiring someone that represents you and your business every single time they talk to a prospect. So not only do their English needs to be crystal clear, but their communication, their pronunciation, and ultimately what they're actually saying with the tonality has to make sense to the prospect. It is not about what they say, it's also about how they say it. I've made a few videos talking about where to find this type of talent. So if you go to my YouTube page, you can actually find related videos that help you find the right platform so you can ultimately hire the right person. The second thing is, once you went through this process of hiring someone, now it's about onboarding. And what I've noticed is two things. Most people don't onboard at all, or they onboard incorrectly. And this is what I want to talk with you guys about. There are two parts of an onboarding that we do at Remote Latinos. The first part of the onboarding is the company onboarding. This company onboarding is a few slides where we talk about the company, the core values, the mission, the vision. We break everything down and we also get feedback from this candidate that we just hired. We also go about how to take time off, how to get paid, and just overall everything that we need them to know in terms of actually being properly onboarded. But that's just part one. Part two of onboarding is our role onboarding. Our role onboarding goes over the day-to-day of this person, starting from the first day to the first week, all the way to the first month and beyond. Who do they need to shadow? What trainings do they need to take? And what is their accountability and quote unquote homework that needs to be completed every single day? And most people either don't do any onboardings at all, or they kind of mumbo jumbo both the onboarding for role and company together. And what happens then is the person doesn't have clear expectations. Everything seems very messy and it's all over the place, rather than having clear day-to-day expectations and true hand-holding experience. You want to make it as easy and as simple as possible for this new candidate to not only feel welcomed, but also truly understanding what is their day-to-day starting today. So quick story, I used to work for Topgolf a little over 10 years ago, and I remember their onboarding was so strict that within the first 30 days, it's all about knowledge and just like doing a little bit of the work. However, their onboarding was so strict that every single day we had to not only attend the specific meetings, but also talk to our managers and tell them what we learned. And this is something very critical because someone can be learning in their head, but truly if you ask them to explain to you what they learned, they're gonna be confused. A true student is not someone that just learns, but it's also someone that can also teach. This is why whenever we onboard people, we give them specific expectations about what we need them to tell us later on throughout the day and throughout the week. And this is where the end of day, end of week, and end of month reports come in. So when you're onboarding this person, they better have clear understanding about what is going to be the day-to-day of my role, how am I going to attend, where am I going to attend, who am I going to shadow, where do I submit questions, where do I submit my takeaways, so on and so forth. This is very critical, and this is an area that a lot of people don't do right. And whenever you hire a true A player, they're going to expose you for not having this, because there are two options here that can happen. Either they're exposing you and they're like, you don't have your P's and Q's together, I'm out. Or this person's like, I'm gonna give this company a shot and let's see what happens, and I'm hoping and praying, but in the meanwhile, I'm gonna go look for other companies. Basically, both options for a true A player, they're not gonna be there much longer. And this is what you wanna avoid at all costs. Remember, these appointment setters are not here just to send DMs. They are here to get on calls and qualify people, build relationships, do the follow-up, and do a lot of the work that you have never done yourself or have done very seldom of it. These appointment setters are not just robotic VAs that are just sending people messages. You need to find A players that can communicate effectively, build a true relationship, and ultimately schedule appointments so that way you or your closer can actually close more deals. That is the only thing that matters with this position. Is this position helping generate more revenue? If yes, awesome, you're doing the right thing. If no, you gotta look into, hey, is this an appointment setting system issue or is this an appointment setter issue? This is very, very critical. Third, training. Guys, training is not optional, okay? I'll give you guys a great example. When I first hired my closer, the first few months we were training every single day. Then after I thought he had everything that he needed, I stopped taking daily calls with him and we did it 3 times a week. And what happened then, I clearly saw a decline in his performance. Not because he wasn't good, he needed to be held accountable and he needed training on specific topics. Maybe it's objection handling, maybe it's how to pitch correctly, maybe it's how to transition, whatever the case may be. He needed help. And as soon as we got back into daily trainings every single day, it changed the course of our business. And also, if you're watching this video and you're building your sales team, you are probably the sales manager, whether you're the CEO or maybe you have a sales manager. It is critical for them to do this. Not only do you want to train every single day, you also want to have a separate time throughout the day to do call reviews. Every day I do 1 call review of my closer to make sure that I provide him notes. And the way I do it is I record a Loom video of me breaking down the video and highlighting exactly what needs to be done. And then I write it all in a document and I send it to him, and then he gives me his takeaways and what are things that he can improve on, so that way the next day we will role play on this. And this is a rinse and repeat cycle that we do every single day, hence why my closer is becoming more and more of an elite closer. And the cool thing is I'm gonna be able to do this 2 times and be able to double my business just by having this training in place. So again, I started with daily, I went to bi-daily, I don't know if that's the word, but 3 times a week. Performance hindered, we went back to daily, and then I doubled down where I started doing an extra call review per day on top of having a one-on-one with my closer every single week, and we saw tremendous results. We have literally closed almost 1.5x more, close to 2x more with just 1 closer. This is why I truly believe we're gonna be able to double, maybe even triple with just another closer. That's crazy, guys. Without having to overhire again, we can actually grow our company, make more money, become more profitable, to be able to reinvest into our team, reinvest into what our vision and mission is, and ultimately grow and scale to the absolute moon. One tool you wanna start using as you're onboarding is a tool called Hubstaff. Hubstaff is a time tracking tool that can not only track the time of the person, but also their activity, and can log in the hours that this person is working. This is what we're using for the majority of our workers internally. And this helps us negate any issues because we are working remote and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to find a mistake or something that's not done correctly. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, guys, and this is the most important thing by far, it is execution and results. At the end of the day, you might hire someone that on paper seemed very good. Culturally, everybody liked them, they got along with everyone. However, when it came down to hitting their KPIs, it did not hit the mark. And this is the part that we have to ask ourselves. Are we a great business or are we a nice business? A nice business lets anybody in and they kind of, take it day by day. A real savage business, if you are not hitting your KPIs, you're not hitting your metrics, it is a cutthroat business, you're out, okay? Now, I don't believe in the super cutthroat business where you cannot, we're humans and you're not dealing with robots, but I think it's a mix of being a savage and being kind. Not being nice, but being kind. Very big difference, okay? It is boiling down to execution results. What does this mean exactly? It is all about the KPIs that you're setting for your team every day, every week, every month. And KPIs stand for key performance indicators, okay? You're gonna set numbers every day, every week, and every month. And these are numbers that your closer and your appointment setter need to hit. Now we're focusing more on the appointment setter. We break these numbers into two parts. The first part is projections. What is the projection for the day? And what is now, the second part, the goal. Now we do this daily, weekly, and monthly. At the beginning of the week, we set projections for Monday and for the week, and every single day after, we just set daily projections. We also on Monday review the previous week to be able to nail our projections because you don't want to set projections and not hit them. Now, the biggest difference between a projection and a goal, the projection is the bare minimum. Anything below a projection is unacceptable. And a goal is something you're striving for. So if you're hitting projections, but you're not hitting your goals, although it's okay in a sense, you do want to hit your goal, but at least you're on KPI. That is enormously important. Now, a lot of people don't even hit projections, which means that they're below KPI. And this is what you want to stay away from. Anyone that is below KPI needs to be put on a PIP, called a performance improvement plan. And this is something that we do with every single team member, whether they're an appointment setter, an editor, closer, you name it, okay? So for our setter, here are KPIs that we have on a regular basis. The 4 metrics that we track internally for our appointment setter is how many people did this person triage? A triage call is calls that are already booked that we're giving them a call and qualifying them further to make sure they're aligned with what we're doing and vice versa. That's number 1. Number 2 is how many appointments did this person set? So we have a CRM, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's outbound, however it is, maybe it's email, they're doing outbound calling and they're actually setting the appointment themselves. Number 2, are those sets, how many actually showed up? And number 4, how many of those sets actually closed? Now we have way more metrics that we track on a regular basis, but these are the 4 that you can start. So again, number 1 is triage, number 2, sets, number 3, shown appointments, and number 4, closed appointments / cash collected. Okay, this gives me a direct reflection knowing how much revenue is this appointment setter generating for the business every single day, every week, and every month. Because if they are not making more money for our company and they're not helping themselves make more money on commission, they're either the wrong person or something is wrong with my sales / setting processes. This is something very critical to be able to be aware of. Otherwise, you're gonna run into circles hiring the wrong people or hiring the right people and not knowing what your issue is. I learned this from one of my mentors, which is it's okay to do things wrong. It's not okay to not know why those things are done wrong, okay? We're not perfect. Humans are not perfect, especially once you bring someone on in the beginning, they're going to make mistakes. The problem is when they don't know why they made mistakes. And there's also a flip part to that. If you're doing great and you don't know why you're doing great, that's also a problem because you're gonna be inconsistent. So you must know why things are done the right way versus why they're done the wrong way. And this is why you wanna have these daily meetings, these daily huddles every single day, talking with your team, getting updates. Our appointment setter channel with just 2 people, including me as a sales manager, so 3 people, is live. Every other minute there's messages. Hey, I'm talking to this person. Hey, we got a triage. What do you guys think about this? Should I offer this? Is this person qualified? This every single day. I want to see especially our appointment setter Rowdy in there, right? My closer is on calls most of the day, so he doesn't have time for sending messages every single day, as I am as well, the CEO / sales manager. But the appointment setter, it is her, could be a him, a responsibility, whatever you hire, to update that channel every single 5, 10, 15 minutes. So that way there's a live communication. You know what they're doing. I'm not here to micromanage, but I need to know what you're working on, what your goals are for the day, and overall what is happening on a regular basis. The last thing I want to say when it comes to training is that we do call reviews every single day. We do role plays every single day. And every Friday we do an overall recap to the week of where we're at and what needs to happen next week. Okay? This can only happen if you are consistently meeting with your sales team. Not every single department needs to meet every day. However, sales is a very emotional, it's a very mindset type of role. I need to work with the people because some days there's things that are happening outside of work that are contributing negatively, and I need to be aware of that as the sales manager / CEO. Now, guys, we went over a lot of stuff. If you want the onboardings I'm talking about, comment below the word onboarding. We'll send you both the role and company onboarding. However, if you're looking to hire a true A player that can come into your business and make a difference from day one, head over to remolatinos.com and schedule a call with a team so we can actually help you find exactly the type of person you're looking for. We hire mostly Latin America since people are bilingual, they're in the same time zone, they have culture fit, and they're very experienced and skilled. However, we can help you find anywhere in the world the exact person, the exact role position that you're looking for. So head over to remolatinos.com and let us help you find your next Rockstar Remote team member. Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.